Welcome in, guys. Happy Friday. Ripped off 3 straight winners in the NBA. Last night, get it done with the Orlando Magic. At home, take care of business against a damn good Pelicans team. And we catch a break with a bit of an injury in that game. And that's another injury added to the list of all these stars, all these playoff teams. They keep getting better, and the injuries, boom, right at the worst of times. We'll see what goes on with Brandon Ingram. But another winner for us yesterday, heading into the weekend. We'll see what all we can get going. So far, 1 bet out for the day. A lot going on this weekend. The sports world, John. We got some March Madness going on already, some upsets. And Shohei Ohtani, we got to talk about that a little bit. I don't even know what to make of it as far as all the rumors and everything else. But end of the day, $4.5 million coming out of his bank accounts to pay off a bookie. Make that for what you will, John.
So for the guys that don't know, Calvin Ridley used to follow. Man, he may even still follow us. He was following me, and he got suspended when that whole thing came back a couple of years ago. The guy was betting a couple of dime parlays or something. Now Ohtani's translator has blown $4.5 million, but not only that, to an illegal book in California. Gambling's still not legal in California. So we're talking about, this brings back the Donaghy days of Donaghy betting with local Philly fucking books, and we're getting out. So this is why, I jump on you guys when you talk about these conspiracies, the Vegas making the call, the fix, guys, here's the thing. Okay, you can only keep a secret between 2 people if one is dead. That's the way you can keep a secret. This is comes out $4.5 million, like I said, to an illegal bookie. Man, how this is going to trickle down? Like I said, Ridley getting suspended for a year for a couple of one-dime bets. Now, we don't know if Ohtani's making the bets, but we do know he knew about the money, whether he's helping a friend out or something. So, real precarious situation over here of a guy got, what did he just get? A $700 million contract. What I think he should do is take the whole $700 million and give $500 million to Trump so Trump could put the money up for this fucking mutt in New York and literally try to rob this poor guy's. How the fuck? What country are we? In Nazi Germany? I almost believe we're in Nazi Germany, Ben. How do you take a man's? We want all your property. You overstated your fucking value. Give us $500 million. Did I get off track? Sorry, I had a vent there, guys. When I watch what's going on in this country, I'm like, what's going on here? This can't be the America that I'm flipping.
That's part of it too. With California not being legal, it solves 2 issues, because obviously there's all the the conspiracies. Was it Ohtani betting? Was it the interpreter betting? 2 things. One, if it was the interpreter and he kept on getting in debt and Ohtani did have to bail him out, if it was legal in California, he wouldn't be betting on credit. He wouldn't end up in $4.5 million in debt. There wouldn't be that issue. 2, if it was legal in California, everyone could see if Ohtani did place bets and it wasn't on baseball, which is the main concern. If he was betting on baseball, which obviously lost $4.5 million.
Governor Newsom, you other idiot out there, legalize sports betting in California. Ben just explained it to you.
Yeah, it would save a lot of issues there, and make a lot of money for the government. So that could be something we could get going there, John.
Anyway, whole lot of crazy stuff. I'm not a college basketball guy. College football, while I don't really get too deep into the prognosticating week to week, I'll take a few weeks when there's that break just before football or just before basketball starting. Still have the best college football numbers that you're ever going to want to see. Basketball, I don't know a player. And then guys say, well, how the hell could you be an expert in NBA if you don't know? What they're doing in college doesn't necessarily translate into the pros. And I can give you a list of guys like this that were superstars at college, couldn't play on an NBA team. When they come to the NBA and they get drafted, then we start evaluating that. But I have no idea about the college basketball. Only thing I've heard is, are there any brackets that are still alive in the in the tournament?
I think it's 0.8%, but hey, shout out Bijan Robinson, running back for the Falcons. He is one of those 0.8%. He called
every game yesterday, huh?
Yeah, so we'll see if he can get the I believe it's a 1 in, if you know anything about college basketball, it's a 1 in 9.2 billion chances for the perfect bracket. And then if you don't, it's something 123 billion, something ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And just looking yesterday just goes what I tell you guys all the time, which is any team can win any game on any given day. We can only, and if anybody tells you anything different, they're a mutt. We can only give you an edge. We'll have an edge on a game. The line will move our way. That's our edge. Guaranteed. Bang, bang your fist. Empty the kid's bank account. College fund. No such thing, guys. You can have the nuts on a game. Still going to lose that game 40% of the time. But yesterday went and proved that. So we got some crazy college basketball going on. We got well, I don't know if I'm going to call him the best, but the unicorn of baseball, highest paid baseball player under scrutiny. We had a 2-game series to start the baseball season off in Korea. They couldn't be more opposite. You had a well-pitched game, only an error blowing that first game, and then a slugfest in the second game. So Yamamoto, the other pickup, 1 inning, 5 runs, absolutely blasted. This guy, I swear I'm going to tell you a funny story, Ben. So let me give you this. So Yamamoto with 5 runs. This guy had a 1.9 ERA in his career. 1.7 ERA in his career. So I used to run travel baseball teams for the kids in my neighborhood. So my nephew, my son played. He's older than my nephew. So my nephew always wanted to be like my son. Couldn't wait to play travel ball for Uncle John. And he would strike out all the kids in his little church league. Uncle John, I have a 0.00 ERA. And I'm like, yeah, wait till next year. Wait till wait for travel ball. In his first inning against the Long Island Lightning, I'll never forget this. They hit him for a 5 spot. He didn't give up 5 runs in his whole time in church. So the difference in playing, I'm just like we're talking about college pro. When you're playing in your church league and you go play travel ball, it's a whole different world. So Yamamoto got welcomed into the major leagues. You're not in Japan anymore. This is the big time. So saw a lot of crazy stuff. Big injuries. We'll talk about that. Oh, and as always, what do we got? I've got 4 games that got big time injuries that we supposedly don't know who's playing, but we'll talk more about that as we get in, and that's the key. But yeah, we're on a little bit of a hot streak since the All-Star break. NBA's been great. Last 3 winners over the last couple of days, as Ben said, had the Magic outright last night. No problem. But we have the night before. The night before was a tough card. We're getting to that time of year in NBA. So the night before, I believe we had 8 games. 7 of the 8 were 9 points or higher favorites. Big numbers. Tough to bet those dogs. We're getting to that part of the year. You got teams giving up. Guys not playing everybody, as you'll see as we'll go through the card today, against teams that have to win. We did pick out a spot at halftime. OKC, were they down by 1? Maybe I think they were down by 1 at half to a Utah team, very undemand without Clarkson, without Markkanen, and we knocked that one down. We had a Sacramento bet under. So just picking our spots. We got 1 spot today again so far. This is a 3-unit spot. I really like this spot. We'll get to it as we come down the rundown.
Yeah, guys, as always, like, comment, subscribe below. We're about, 6 days away now from the official opening day of MLB. Next Wednesday, we'll try to have an MLB special out for you guys for the season. So please help us out with the comments, help us grow. Make sure you guys come back next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wednesday will be that MLB special. And, yeah, let's run down this card. Things have been hot in the NBA. Let's keep that rolling today. And we got a couple of big favorites at the top of the card. OKC at Toronto. Thunder, like John just said, they got us for the second half the other night against the Jazz. End up winning that one by 12. Don't cover the full game, but get us for that halftime line. Homegrown big night. SGA, his 50th 30-point game of the season. First to do that since James Harden's 2018-19 season. And I believe it's only him, Kobe, T-Mac, and I think there's one other guy I'm forgetting. So SGA putting himself in special company this year. Raptors, just not the Toronto Raptors. Down 4 starters. They looked horrendous against the Kings, only put up 89 points. Got absolutely torched in that one. They've lost 8 in a row. They're 3-11 in their last 14 at home. Big number on the road here, but for a damn good reason. Could only be one OKC in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's OKC and nobody. Do you want to lay 15 on the road? I just don't want Toronto. They got absolutely blitzed. As Ben said, now playing without 4 starters. Excuse me, guys. These are the teams that just it's not only that they're tanking, they're just not playing anybody. You get Quickly and Barrett out for personal reasons. Barrett brother died, for those that don't know. You got Podol and Barnes out with injury. It's a wrap. They'll play who's ever in there. Their season's over. There's no chance of even making the play-in. So you're playing against the team OKC. The only thing I will say with OKC, they're winning, but they're not covering. 6-1 straight up their last 7, but just 1-6 against the spread. Again, didn't cover that game with the Jazz. That's why we didn't like them pregame. But we like this spot at halftime and caught them there. Could be something similar to here. Other than that, can't lay this price, but no interest in taking the Raptors.
Yeah, this is the first of a pretty tough 3-game trip. They get at Milwaukee, at New Orleans next for OKC. Could definitely be one of those spots they let Toronto hang around. Another matchup, similar situation. Celtics at Detroit. Boston, you got Holiday already out and questionables and all the other starters. Got to see who they rest tonight against the Pistons. And as we said on Monday, they're going to be resting guys down the stretch. They're going to have this 1 seed clinched up. There's no need to risk the injury. You see guys like Karl-Anthony Towns and yesterday Brandon Ingram. And as the season goes on, every single team getting hit with these injuries. Boston's been fairly unscathed. So they're going to play this pretty delicate with the matchup history. I mean, it's all Celtics, obviously 8 straight wins, 5-3 against the spread. Pistons, they did cover both meetings in Detroit last year. And I would lean the Pistons in this matchup here. You have the Celtics coming off a pretty hard-fought game with Milwaukee, which probably shouldn't have been that tight. And depending on how many starters they rest, big number here would only want Detroit.
Again, just depends how many they're going to rest. So Celtics play at Chicago tomorrow. So Horford's not going to play in both games. So he's going to play one. I'm assuming he'll play one. Porzingis will play the other. Who plays tonight? Who sits tonight? That remains to be seen. Ben told you Holiday already ruled out. My guess, Brown or Tatum sit tonight. More likely Brown. Again, these are all just assumptions on my part. We'll see who really sits tonight. Pistons, another one of the teams. They're over now. Stewart, he's going to miss the rest of the season. Fontecchio, I guess you say his name. He's going to miss another game today. So they're getting down to bare bones. Just Doran and Cunningham try to finish out their seasons. Couple of nice pieces they'll be for the Pistons down the road, but they got a lot to build in around them. Other than that, got to wait to see who the Celtics are playing, but no way do I want to lay the Celtics as a 14-point favorite with another road game tomorrow, depending on who's sitting. But same as the Raptors, do I want to take a Piston squad? Got blown out their last game by the Pacers. They're injured now. Just not much to play for. So another game maybe we'll look for at halftime.
We got Pelicans going on to Miami. Obviously, Brandon Ingram leaves last night, going to be out for a little bit here. Pelicans, they're playing good ball up until that loss against the Magic yesterday. 7-2, 6-2-1 against the spread their last 9. Pretty solid on the road, 10-4 their last 14. And this Miami team, they haven't covered their last 4 at home, 2-2 straight up. They're coming off a win at Cleveland. Again, short-handed Cavs team. Got some questionables here with Bam Adebayo. Robinson, he remains out. Matchup history is all Miami. 7 straight wins, 6-1 against the spread. Got to see what's going on with Bam Adebayo in this one, but I think it's worth a look here to Miami in this game. And you got Pelicans who've been on the road for a couple of games. They got a cleanup game on Sunday coming with Detroit, and then they have a tough homestand. Really, really tough homestand. OKC, Boston, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Orlando. That is as tough as it gets right now in the NBA. I think they're going to be looking onto that a little bit here after that injury last night. So this game to me is Miami or nothing. Want to see what's up with Bam Adebayo.
Yep, got to see what's happening with Bam. Butler returned in his last game and looked like he needed the rest because he came out like playoff Jimmy He looked great. Got to see what's happening. Bam's been struggling through this back injury. So they gave him the day off. Remember that the Heat are already, who are they down? You're down Hero, Duncan Robinson. He'll miss again. Smaller guys, Richardson, Love. So they're down some bodies, Miami. New Orleans, just when they were hitting on all cylinders, they go and lose Brandon Ingram. And this is going to be a couple of weeks, at least a couple of weeks. They're saying Ingram will be reevaluated in 2 weeks, so they can get your ramp-up time. There's no guarantee we're going to see him for the rest of the regular season.
Nope.
With that said, tough spot for Pelicans. Last game of a trip, lose Ingram. They don't win against Miami. Heat have won the last 7, covered 6 of the 7, and Pelicans have dropped last 5 trips to Miami, losing 4 of the 5 against the spread. So, bad spot for the Pelicans. Would I want to lay the Heat in this spot again? No, and it depends upon Bam. So we'll look to see those injuries later. And this is what we say all the time, guys. NBA, you need the injuries. Right up into game time, we're on everything. Even the injuries that happen at halftime, we're on it.
I'm interested to see what we get out of Zion in the stretch here without Ingram. Obviously, everyone knows the weight cut he's had. He's been the last 6 games averaging over 28 on 65% shooting, which is, I think, only Giannis scores more at that kind of efficiency in the NBA. So without Ingram, and we kind of saw that a little bit with Anthony Edwards. Cat goes out, Edwards gets more reps, more shots. I'm interested to see if Zion kind of takes that higher level. We'll see what we get out of the Pelicans tonight. Cavs at Minnesota. Speaking of Anthony Edwards, is listed questionable tonight. Expect him to go. They keep putting that questionable tag on him. Cleveland, I mean, just depleted. Wade, Strus, Mobley, Mitchell still all out. And you still have Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert questionable here for Minnesota. This could be an ugly game. We'll see who all ends up going. Could only want the under with 2 of your top 5 teams in points allowed. As far as the matchup history, a little bit belonging here to Minnesota. They had won the prior 3 meetings. They did lose in OT earlier this year at Cleveland. Would expect the Wolves to take care of business in this game. I lean to them. I don't want to have them in this matchup without Rudy Gobert. He brings so much on a defensive level. I think he's the most underappreciated player in the NBA. He was with Utah. They're a perennial 1 seed in the West for a couple of years. They would just keep on getting up there in the top 2 seeds when the wins. Now he goes to Minnesota and then same contention. Need him in the game tonight.
Look, Gobert is only underappreciated by people that don't know fucking basketball because this guy is a defensive player of the year, a multiple defensive player of the year, and he's just been huge. They figured it out in Minnesota with Gobert there, and you can see the difference when he's on the floor and not. Now, again, I'm sorry, Ben, I was doing something. I don't know if you mentioned it's Gobert's missed the last 3 games. Yep. Reed missed basically the last 2 because he got hurt 2 games ago early in the game. And with Cat out, leaves them really strapped for bigs. Jared Allen just went buck crazy in his last game, so you're going to need one of those bigs in there. Cleveland been playing almost the entire year shorthanded. They've been just struggling, but getting it done. Again, still missing 4 guys, 3 starters, and Wade, who comes off the bench, part of their rotation. Minnesota's, we were talking about this. They're starting to be what the Lakers are, what LeBron and AD questionable every game. They got Edwards questionable again with the finger. If you guys saw that crazy dunk a couple of games ago, whatever he did to the finger. So they had him questionable for the Denver game. He played. You got him questionable again for the finger again today, so he's just questionable every day. I expect him to play. Don't know about Gobert and Reed. We'll see what's up with these guys. Again, definitely going to want them if you're laying any kind of points against Allen. Allen and Garland been getting it done. Cleveland, just a crazy team. This kid, Merrill, comes off the bench, and some days this kid just catches fire from 3 and catches a nice 6 out of 10, and he just changes the complexion of the game. They'll need him to do that against Minnesota. 2 tough defenses going. What do I got here, Ben? I got a little referee stat. Van Duyn under is 35-20 in his 55 games doing ref. So a big under ref. But again, they've already made this game so low. They know 2 defensive teams. You got a referee that calls the games to the under. Everybody wants to bet the under, and that under is already at a rock bottom price.
Next matchup, we got Grizzlies at San Antonio. Grizzlies were just destroyed at Golden State. they got some big performances in that game. Gigi Jackson, he's been playing phenomenal. Between him, the other Jackson, and Aldama, they got 90 points between the three on a very efficient clip. They got some bad performances there as well, and then Golden State just torched them offensively. They've lost 4 straight, but they're 8-4 against the spread their last 12 road games. And then you have the San Antonio team, who's been playing pretty good since the All-Star break. They get a cover against Dallas. They keep hanging within the number, 4-10 straight up, but 10-4 against the spread. Only problem is you got some absolute ownership here. 13 straight wins here in the matchup for Memphis. Only 6-7 against the spread. And Spurs, they have covered 6-1 of the last 7. However, Spurs haven't been a 6-point favorite in any of these games. So you got a big number on this game with some ownership with Memphis. Got to see who all goes, but can only want the Grizzlies here. This number's getting pretty steep.
Yeah, we don't have it in our preview, but Wemby did tweak his ankle a little bit in the last game. So I haven't seen any reports. I didn't list them in the previews. Collins, he did miss the last game. His questionable. If Wemby was to miss and Collins is out, now you're leaving a little hole there at the big spot. But I don't know if Ben mentioned this one. Again, I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted trying to do a couple of things at one time. 13 straight. Spurs have lost 13 straight in this series. They've dropped 8 straight in San Antonio. So tough not to like Memphis plus the points, although they're going to be so shorthanded. Bane had come back, obviously elevated their scoring a little bit in a couple of games, but he looks like he's out tonight. Kennard's missed the last couple of games. Basically, everybody's on the injured list. That's why guys like Gigi Jackson are getting the opportunity to score. Memphis or nobody with the points. Will keep an eye on the injuries as always.
We got Pacers at Golden State. You got this Indiana team just got a big 20-point blowout at Detroit the other night. Halliburton, who hasn't been shooting so great, he kind of bounced back in that game a little bit. Still, I believe, he's 18% for 3 in the month of March. And then you have this Warriors team who's coming off that win there, the blowout against Memphis. They're 1-1 on the homestand. They got some big performances in that game as well. Matchup history, all Indiana. Golden State beat them earlier at home this season, but they've won the last 4 trips to Golden State, John, and that's why we got a nice little bet on this game.
Yep, this is my one bet so far for the day. I took 5 on this game. Pacers, again, 4 straight wins, as Ben said, double digits, all 4 against real teams.
Oh, yeah.
OKC, Mavs, Magic. They've beaten some good teams on the road. Home revenge. That's the big one here. It's a 22-point home revenge. Warriors went into Indiana and crushed them early this year. Pacers have won their last 4 trips at Golden State. Warriors, one of the better home teams last year. They're under 500 against the spread at home this year. So we took the Pacers plus 5. I expect this one to be a close one, so I'm taking the points.
We got Clippers at Portland. Second game of a 2-game set here. They get the win and cover in the last one. They absolutely own this matchup. 15 of the last 16 meetings, 12-4 against the spread, 7-1, 7-1, 6-2 against the spread. Last 8 trips to Portland. Going to be a good-sized number here again, similar to the line they were laying the other night. Tough to want to be laying that. They do go back home for a little 2-game set after this. They get the 76ers. Is Harden looking on to that matchup with Philly? Who knows? This is a big number here with the ownership. I can't buck it. And you got this Portland team who just continues to be extremely shorthanded. This team, Memphis, and right now Cleveland, obviously Cleveland a bit more prepared for the shorthandedness. They got some better players on the roster, but just really tough to want to back these shorthanded teams.
Yeah, Toronto throwing there.
Yeah, Toronto.
Not even shorthanded, just they're decimated. Mm-hmm. Hawks are now starting to get to that point. Johnson, he's going to be out for another week, so that's him, Bay, and obviously Trae Young. Like I said, it's about the injuries this time of the year. Teams are wearing down. Here's another Portland team. Grant has missed the last, 6 games. He's going to miss again today. They've got him listed doubtful. You can count him. He's going to be out too. Clippers, a couple of guys that lengthened their bench. Powell and Man actually starts, but these are guys that they need to round out that bench. They're both questionable. Both missed the last game, so we'll see if they're in today. Just can't buck the trend, as Ben said. 15-1 the last 16 meetings, 7-1 the last 8 at Portland. Not about to buck that trend. Clippers, if they want, could go out and beat this one by 20. Second game of these homestands are tough, though. They covered the first game, beating them by double digits. Do they let up a little bit? If they're a little shorthanded, you know you're going to want to get Kawhi and PG a couple of minutes extra on the bench. Would take it, if anything. But again, Portland, Detroit, these big 14, 15-point numbers. Do you really want these bad teams?
Yep, and then last game on the card, we got the 76ers at the Lakers. You have Philly, who's coming off this loss at Phoenix. Maxey, a complete no-show in that game. And then you have this Lakers team who's been kind of playing almost like 500 ball. They get a couple losses, get a couple wins. They're coming off a nice one there against Atlanta. Absolutely demolished them in that game. Matchup history here, you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. So it's all Philly if you just look at it from the outside. They've won 7 straight meetings, 5-2 against the spread. They beat them by 40-some-odd earlier this season in Philly. And I believe that was the biggest loss of LeBron James' career in Philly. And then they've won 6 of the last 7 trips to L.A., but you look a little bit closer at those games to L.A., Lakers covered the last 2. AD missed both. LeBron didn't play one, and they're 6-1 the last 7. But the one time they had both LeBron and AD in the game, they won and covered that game by double digits. So this is, to me, a Lakers revenge spot. Yes, you could argue there's some ownership, but they haven't been healthy. Now you flip the roles. No AD or LeBron in a lot of those games. Now you have no Embiid in this matchup with the worst loss of LeBron's career at Philly earlier this season. Seems like a good get-right situation for them in this matchup.
Yeah, if anything, I would be on Philly because of the ownership. I know what Ben's saying, absolutely, with the who plays when. Just don't see the Lakers as a blowout team. As bad as Philly's playing right now, Lakers had their blowout for the week. It was over. Atlanta in their last game. The other part is, obviously, they're calling LeBron questionable. Is this the type of game, or is this the time of year that you're going to now start limiting LeBron to that was supposed to be 28 to 30 minutes and from the beginning of the season? It lasted one game. Playoffs are right around the corner, guys. We got another month of NBA regular season.
I don't think they're catching Sacramento. They're 3 games back of that, and they have this series split. So they're technically 3.5 games back.
I agree. Look, I've said for a while, it looks like it's going to be Golden State, Lakers, 9-10. You'll have a play. Imagine the Lakers and Golden State. That's how deep the West is. 9-10. One of those teams is going to play one play-in game and going to be out of it. So Golden State Lakers replaying last year's playoff series, and that's what it looks like it's going to be. You want to keep your guys sharp. I'm not saying bench guys, but maybe it's time to start limiting guys like LeBron and AD so you got something going down the stretch. Now, if you're fighting for positioning is one thing. You want to get that home game, even if it's the 9-10, but at what cost? So we'll see here. 7 points, I just think, is the right number for this game. Looks like Harris should be back. Missed the last 3 games, but he did practice yesterday. I expect him back. No official word yet.
Got a lot of questionables on this slate, guys. As always, a lot of injuries, some key players. Tobias Harris, pretty much everyone for Boston. Bam Adebayo. We got to see what's going on here in some of these injuries tonight. We'll see what that opens up. Any more bets? You guys know the one game we have already. But been a pretty good week, but a pretty good couple of weeks, really, since the NBA All-Star break, like John said. Working on 3 straight winners right now. We'll see if we can carry that on into the weekend, John.
Absolutely. And, guys, baseball's here. We'll do a podcast Monday. And I've actually got Ben's going to come spend a couple of days with me down here in Florida. We'll be working from the same place. So we'll be doing our next podcast together on Monday. We'll do a little baseball preview. And we'll put that up, I guess, posted either Tuesday or Wednesday. Get you guys ready for that. And again, it's up to you. You want more podcasts? Give us more love. You want less podcasts? Keep giving us 11 likes on our podcast that we work so well. And again, guys, what you want to do, you want to become a Massa Edge member. Nobody beats the NBA like I do. It's 2 points, 3 points every single game, right side every single day. That's what gambling's all about. As we said, college basketball, I don't know how many of your prognosticators are knocking those games down. We don't guarantee games. We guarantee to get you on the sharp sides at the best number, and we deliver every single day. We'll do the same in baseball.
Yes, we will. We've done it the last couple of years. Do that again. John's done that for 40 years. I've just been a part of it for the last couple. So we'll see what we can get cooking up this season. As always, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below, and let's make some money.